Thank you for tuning in to episode 15 of the Construction DorkCast. This is the last episode for us this year, and we changed things up a bit, and, well, it was a shit show. We invited in all of the live attendees to talk about their favorite episodes, what they'd like to see us do in the new year, and generally recreated the atmosphere we would normally find ourselves in while networking and hanging out. We really hope you've enjoyed the podcast this year and encourage you to keep giving us ideas for episodes as well as on how we can improve the show. One thing we're trying to do this episode is to move the snippets we grab from the discussion before going live to the end so listeners can dive right in. Enjoy!
All right, let's go.
Did we just lose Jonathan?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Johnny, what's up?
He'll be back later.
Dude, I'll just come in and out. It'll be fine.
Robo John. We got it.
And
Max-
we're live.
Max Headroom.
All right, guys, we are live. I sent out the attendee. Oh, there it goes. Starting to worry me there for a second. I'm going to be honest.
Crickets.
Yeah, I'm like, crickets. All right, well, we are live. This is episode 16 or 15, guys. Do we know?
15, right?
It's episode 15. Cheers. You want to go where everybody knows your name. We thought we'd have an interesting throwback episode to kind of recap our year and dork out a bit. I know that this has been an incredible respite place for me to go. As the guys know beforehand, I'm usually the one running around with like a chicken with my head cut off before I sit down right before we roll into this. And it is the highlight of my every other week. So to all three of you, I appreciate you. Travis, why don't you take it away and do what we do?
All right. Well, I went and I got from my favorite local brewery, Wishful Acres. I actually got two different beers. Right now I'm drinking the Morning Music. It's I got from here. This is a dark oatmeal breakfast stout with coffee, roasted malts, and bootstrap molasses. It's actually it's pretty darn dark, which is my style. It's pretty good. But then if I kill that off, which I don't see myself not doing, I have the Midwest Mullet. And this is a lager with
Midwest Mullet.
With some different kinds of malts. So that's what I'm drinking today here in it's actually pretty sunny, pretty warm here in Northern Illinois. It's a beautiful day.
Nice. Trent, how about you, my man?
All right, guys. I don't have anything exciting to report to you on that. I'm going with one of my Sprecker's wood-fired root beers. This is a month of mine where the liver's getting a break for a month. So I'm in the middle of one of my 1 month off from the normal. So I don't have anything. Yeah.
Nothing sober rhymes with December. Right? It's
Yeah.
sober October. You know, like that's what that month is all about, isn't it? But hey, we can all do it.
Every now and then I got to help my body out a little bit. So I'm like 2.5 weeks deep in it right now. So another week and a half and we'll be back. We'll be back. So
All right. Well, Jonathan, you're unfrozen. You're back. We don't know
Yes.
how long we got you. What you
No,
got?
I'm slowly turning into a robot today, so that's going to happen a couple times. I got Glenmorangie with the cherry cask, which is like Glenmorangie makes a bunch of different, basically a bunch of different versions of the same thing, and it all depends on which cask they aged it in. So I'm gonna do some scotch today.
Scotch.
Very nice.
Scotch.
Roast.
Prost. All right. Well, that leaves me, and I'm not taking a full break, but I am with you there, Trent, back and forth. I have my usual B12 fun in there to keep me going. That's right. Get your Zip Fizz. But Jonathan, this might, if it works, if it shows.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
It's a bootlegger. That's right. I got my bootleg shipment, so it's all good. So I will hit into a Yingling at some point here. So when you hear that favorite sound, we're good. So we really wanted to step back and kind of do a year in review, and I kind of want to start with the crew on your favorite part of the year. What was your favorite episode, favorite snippet? What's the thing you like the most? Jonathan, since you're not robotic on us, I'm going to let you go first. But also, since we've got some people listening in, we're going to have some fun with you too. So go ahead and talk about your favorite parts, Jonathan, while I go to work.
I gotta say, I think like one of my favorites was we had Doug on, and Doug gave me so much information in that I thought was so useful. I think that was my favorite, or Nick Espinoza, because I love Nick, and even just having him on was hilarious. But what you in the audience didn't see was his discussion leading up to that, where he talked about China and how they're taking us over, and it was like the part of the discussion that I wish happened in front of everybody, but didn't. So that's what mine was for sure.
That's awesome. Trent, what about you, man?
Oh man, I mean, I think we've had a lot of fun along the way, and we did an episode where we brought a couple people on to talk about like the future with coordinating with precast. I thought that was incredibly informative. But what about the Dorkcats? Like, how can we forget about? I feel like us amateurs like threw it over to them, and they think they made a better show than any of us even could. And like, you talk about having like those women we had on, you talk about a powerhouse crew. Like, holy crap. I mean, I don't even know if we could stack up to the knowledge and the influence that those ladies presented here. So, I mean, that one leaves a lasting impression for sure.
We had Tiana's be 40 under 40, and Nicole being mentioned in part of the Built World's top construction influencers. And that list was lacking a lot of us and more of them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a powerhouse. I mean, like those ladies definitely brought thunder. Like their voice is heard.
I saw Tanis on the 40 under 40 for Canada also, recently.
Yep. So if you didn't notice, this room's getting a lot bigger. Now, here's the joke, though. Anybody else who joins, just act like this was what the show was supposed to be until they get here. That's right.
My man, Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua. All right. So you are all promoted. This is what we're going to call the Construction Dorks Clusterfuck. We're going to have a little bit of fun.
Oh, there goes the rating.
Yeah, damn it.
I just want to call something out here. Travis Althouse, like your picture when you stop your video, it's very handsome, dapper man. And then when you turn on your camera, it's someone who's living in the backwoods somewhere. I don't know if those two pictures coincide with each other. They should.
DJ, I'm looking right now. I've got to agree. It's a
damn good picture, Travis. So you look good.
Oh, there he goes.
See what I mean?
It's all professional.
That's the name.
It's the pre-COVID look.
Yeah.
Been a rough year.
Oh man. Well, thank you all for being the ones who are attending, because at first when we turned this thing on, I wasn't sure it was actually going to happen, that everybody was going to be here and make it in. So
Nathan wants in.
DJ. No, he can't come in. He's late. DJ, you said the Dorkcats, you've been one of the most vocal folks. You've been texting us, really engaging. So
I'm bored. I'm bored. I got nothing to do during this pandemic, so I'm really bored. It's either that or I'm bugging Trent and Derek, who's on the call all the time as well. So
yeah, we're doing a lot of work with DJ right now. So some cool stuff going on.
The Dorkcats one was fantastic. Definitely a lot of talent that humbles the rest of us here. Doug Smith is one of my favorite people in the entire world. So definitely listening in with him, and just his aw shucks attitude, but his knowledge is comparable to the lady power as well. And just the stories and how long he's been in the industry is and all just the things that he's learned, and the dude is just one of the most humble people I've ever met. And I owe a lot of some of the things that I have learned in my experience with the time that I was able to interact with him. So but I would say those two. They're all really good, but I would say those two are probably at the top of the list.
Nice. Welcome, Nathan. I guess we'll make the COVID 5-minute rule the 10-minute rule. Thanks for joining.
What did I miss?
You missed we were letting everybody in, but you were just close enough that the idea was we were going to sit here when other people got in and just pretend like this was what it was supposed to be, and they were just supposed to be over there. But we couldn't just do it to you. So what we're talking about is your favorite, look back over the year as Construction Dork. So, we figured this was the way to do it. Open it up to everybody. David, thanks for joining us, man. What about you?
Sure thing.
What's your take on the year? What's your kickback? Favorite thing? How's it been from the other side?
I'm in learning mode because I know nothing. And so I've tried my best against all my instincts to keep my mouth shut and, take it in. And, Doug's definitely a powerhouse. The ladies, I totally agree with everything that's been said, but, I try not to look like a fool. So I'm just going to shut up and learn.
All right. We like that.
Let me know how you do that, because I still struggle with that.
Right.
Yeah, it helps to have a little bit of the liquid involved here, but I got to take the dog to the vet after this, so I have to. I'm eating my apple. That's my enjoying right now.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's fair to say
juicing
that.
it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fair to say that David is a slouch, though. Like, I mean, this guy like developed and runs a very successful communication software for pipe cutting, right? I mean, so
For sure.
Well, thanks, but I'm actually new. I've only been at it for less than a year and a half, so I feel like I'm just barely getting out of the hole. That's all.
This has been a tough year and a half too, man. If you're going to come in, this was not the time to come in.
You don't know the half
technology,
of it,
maybe.
man.
Yeah, no, I do, man. I started mine about a year ago, and I'm still like, holy crap, man! How'd this all happen? Just happy to be above water.
That's right. That's right.
Oh.
Awesome. Derek, man, you're muted right now, but you can unmute and join in. How's it been on the other side? What's your favorite part so far? What do you guys want to see? While we're talking to Derek, I also want you to think about, what do you want to see in the future? We're recording this, obviously, and we're looking for ideas for next year. What's been good? What's not been good? What can we do better? What do you want to see? But Derek, what's your look back at the year?
I know it's been interesting listening to this podcast with working with Trent. So some of the stuff early on when you guys were bringing in some of the guys that we've actually were working with currently on one of the jobs. So the one with TJ Chin was very interesting to me, the precast, and Trent and I have a lot of conversations about that and about how precast is, we talk about doing fabrication a lot on everything. And I think concrete is one of those things that people just don't think about as being prefabricated, but it's going to happen more and more. We're going to run into this. There was a lot of learning for us on that job, but hearing TJ talk about that, I mean, that was a massive project to do precast concrete on. So to me, and I'm a little biased because that's exactly where we're at with it, but I really enjoyed that one. But the Nick Espinosa one, that was a good one to scare the hell out of you.
That's a good one.
Then and then the one that with I forgot his name, the guy Knight,
Oh yeah,
Jim Knight. Yeah.
Jim
that
Knight.
was a fantastic one.
Yeah, we can't forget about that one. That was a great one too.
Right.
Yeah.
It was our
they've
first
all been pretty
crossover,
great.
True.
Yeah.
I
I will
like-
point out that that they all are incredible, and I agree. The one with Terry or TJ and Lauren, the precast, understanding that side of it, but the numbers play out too. Everybody keeps pointing out to the Dorkettes. The numbers play out that's the most watched, listened to, referred to podcast. Which we've joked there. I've joked a couple times that maybe then we should just start the podcast and let everybody else talk, because I think that's probably part of it. If we just get out of the way, because they were phenomenal. So we just need more of you guys to come on, and we'll shut up and let you guys talk.
I agree. I mean, they did it for us, right? I mean, it was It was phenomenal.
Well, they actually planned and everything.
Right,
They had a
yeah.
meeting. And we're
Wait,
truly
go
undercover.
figure. The women actually planned and strategized
Right,
to have
yeah.
a successful podcast.
They got together beforehand and outlined everything. And we're
Right.
sitting here oh shit. What are you
we got a podcast in 15 minutes, guys. What was we going to talk about?
We were 1 minute going into this, and we go, "What was the plan again?" And Jonathan's like, "We need a plan." Hey, just thinking plan.
It's the show about nothing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, they made it about something, and it ended up being the most watched episode. Right? So.
Oh man, that's awesome. I actually like the TJ Chin one. I have to say, he and Lauren Williams. I mean, she's a powerhouse as well.
Oh yeah.
If she hadn't already been on for that episode, I would have brought her in for the Dorkettes as well.
Right.
And
she broke the cursing record. I actually had a meeting with her today and gave her props for the episode and said, love the candor. She's like, yeah, I just can't help it. I curse a lot. So
yeah.
Well, and education, right? So Travis and I had to learn how to label it explicit.
So it actually would go out.
But then we had a problem with the audio going out. We couldn't figure out if we had done the explicit wrong, etc. So, she really forced us to learn. And then ever since, every episode, so you guys know, has been explicit. Before that, not. After that, yes. So, Lauren,
Right.
if you're listening, that one was down there for you.
We learned a
Did
lot
we
from
let
her.
it out that she had an active shooter thing going on at the time?
Yeah. I don't know if
Yeah.
everybody
I don't think we
saw
said
that.
No.
I don't think
No.
people before the episode, she's like, hold on, we have an active shooter right now.
I might have to leave. That
Right.
was exactly-
Yeah. You worry about that. We'll take care of the podcast.
We're like, no, we have you booked. You better
Right, yeah.
Get your priorities straight.
That's right.
She didn't look worked up at all. I mean, she looked like she probably wanted a better drink, but other than that, she seemed cool with it.
Oh, that's
She
awesome.
had an AR.
I
just
think
out
she
of
was still
frame.
at work, wasn't she?
Oh, yeah,
She
she's
was.
still on the site.
Yeah.
She's like, hey guys, I may need to go here soon. There's apparently an active shooter on site. And we're like, yeah, I mean, you should go. I don't know if that.
Now we have to say, because we know where she worked, that it wasn't on her site. Actually,
Right,
it was
right.
in the neighborhood, and it was ended before anything ever really
That
happened.
should have made the blooper reel for sure. That was.
We weren't really doing the bloopers then. We started doing those later. Do you guys like, Nathan? You watch? Do you like the bloopers that we do beforehand? Have you noticed in the video, if you rewatch it, there's bloopers or at the beginning of it that we cut it together? Or did I catch you that you haven't been listening?
No, I have been listening. I do like the approach. Sometimes I'm like, wait, when are we starting? So yeah, maybe we can fit it within a time frame or something. Capture some nuggets from it. But
Yes.
Yeah.
I like what you're doing with it. I mean, there's definitely. I mean, the more you listen to podcasts, they all have some sort of a format and a flow to it. And I think. Yeah,
structure's not something we've figured out quite yet, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, but there's a natural flow to it, and I think the best ones are.
That's
Brett. Does Brett Young want the link? Is that what you're saying,
Yes.
DJ?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm texting to try to get some others on here.
well.
Like
We
I-
have. I have.
Can we watch
social
him?
media, folks? Why can't we post out the link to join it on social media and hashtag
We didn't want to
Construction
do
Dorks?
that. We wanted you to have to be a diehard and show up. But I want a drum roll here because I'm going to let him in. This is one of my favorite folks that I saw him. He was number 2 to sign up. DJ, nobody beat you, but number 2 to sign up. I'm promoting him in right now. The infamous Mark Decker.
Yes. Well, that's because
joining.
That's because I just texted him and told him to join us. Thank you very much.
Cool. While he's
Thank you.
Josh,
No credit though. No credit.
no credit.
Yeah.
No.
Joshua,
I'm not trying to
hold
take credit.
on. Hold on. Josh, you've been here and haven't got to say anything yet. Where are you joining us from?
Yes, there's Mark Decker.
That you had a Yingling on you.
Basement of Lakewood, Colorado.
The
Ooh.
basement.
Oh.
I made it.
So I'm a Pennsylvania boy. So my parents actually drop off cases of beer every time they show up.
Nice.
This comes across the states.
Those are good parents.
That's love. That's love.
Yeah.
I think I've got one more case left to ration off before they show up again. But yeah, so my favorite one was the co-opetition one.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
I think it hits a little bit more home to a general contractor on the competition side of things, then I think a lot of you guys are a little bit more specialized. But that's been my favorite, and I think that was probably one of the first ones that I joined as a participant, not just a late night viewer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Well, thanks,
Yeah,
man.
you guys have been awesome.
Thank you.
Josh has been really cool, giving us good feedback, guys.
Yeah.
So it's great. to
Yeah,
have you
he's been
come on
heavy in the Q&A game and stuff too, so very much
Thanks.
appreciate.
I would say if everybody knows Mark Decker, but I think that's a not so much a valid question. Mark Decker knows everybody. hence the 6 degrees of Mark Decker.
That's right.
Only you say that, DJ. But I'll take it.
I don't know, man. Mark, it has been a long time. How are you doing, man?
Good. I finally went out on a job site too, so I'm traveling for the first time in 6 months. It's nice. Nice to see everything still going.
Yeah.
And coming from the design side, so this is all new in a lot of different ways.
He switched sides. He's
What
now on
did
the
you-
dark side.
Oh,
No.
You guys, I went from architecture to construction to engineering. It's scary, but I like it.
Software is the dark side, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's me. That's me. I'm on the dark side.
Yeah, David. Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
We drop our colors at the door, but yeah.
The dark side.
It's really not that dark on this side, Mark. It's not that
You
dark.
guys seen the lightning
So far, so good.
power of the dark side? Like the lightning power of the dark side is amazing. You guys should try it.
You guys should
Software
really.
side.
You should
try
get
it.
in.
You know
on
what? I think Travis could speak to this. I think the most interesting thing that I've seen being now on the software side and working with more customers, and especially like around this technology space, is you start to realize there's still a lot of us out there who have a long ways to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. I learned that
man.
when I was doing
Right, Travis? Wouldn't you agree with that? Like, just
when I
seeing
was doing
with-
software development before, that was one of the fun things about being in software development, being in technology, is like you peek behind the curtains of some, Fortune 50 companies, and you kind of realize that they're just as fucked up as everybody else.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe more.
Right.
I was going to say, I would
have you
hazard it goes a little deeper.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sometimes you're
I
like,
mean,
you open up that one door and the skeletons just start piling out, and they're like, whoa,
Yeah.
hold that
it's
up.
like
Shut that door, man. Don't open that thing.
it's like, so we'll just say it's other Travis, like just getting a call sometimes and with customers, and then they're like, oh, I'm not really that familiar with Navisworks. And you're like, oh, really? Well, this is going to be
Yeah.
Right.
this is now turned into a Navisworks trading session.
Well, I mean, Navisworks is pretty new though, DJ. So I mean, like, you should.
The worst
Hey,
is
Trent,
when they're-
the only thing that has changed in the last few years is the logo.
Well, they went from green to blue. It was like that. Yeah.
We could have Mark could talk about this all day long. He's a huge Navisworks fan and does
Guess
not
what
have
I'm-
any list of things to do.
Guess what I'm working on right now? Navisworks training. It's crazy.
You're catching up those new updates that came out for 2021. There's a
That's right.
huge,
That's
huge
right.
list of
That's
updates.
right.
How'd they blow our mind this year? It's a new plugin for the design software. Is that the?
No, we have coordination now and issue management. This is amazing stuff, right?
There you go.
Yeah, sounds
brand new.
sounds a lot like Revista.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Visto, some BitDrag, Procore's one. Like, yeah,
Procore.
we've all got some very good ones out there.
Well, we have a new guest with us now who might
He needs to turn on his camera.
Well, we have another one who hasn't turned on his camera, but we have another new guest who, if he didn't have
I
his
see
name there,
Brett.
I
Yeah.
might not recognize him.
Yeah.
Mr. Bob
Bob.
Schneider first.
Yeah.
Bob.
Still rocking the hat.
You got your
You're
you're
muted.
muted though, Bob.
Bob, are you trying to be Travis Althouse? Or
Something's funny. I did so
I
today.
inspired him.
And,
He had
The
to-
beanie
I-
saves at least 15 years off, Bob.
I am Travis. This is my Travis look. We had a meeting. I had a pretty long meeting today with Travis and all the guys at Revista, and I like the look, and I think I'm going for his job now. So, because my job.
There you go. Nice.
That's
You're
it. So
gonna have-
that's it, Travis. So look out. I don't think it's a problem. I think Armand likes me better.
Hey, can I ask a favor? Can I ask a favor? Travis Althouse, can you donate some of your facial hair to Brett Young? Because Brett Young's facial hair is very scary.
Brett, what happened?
Brett, take the
Brett, it's
stage.
December. Every December he shaves.
Do you wax, Brett? Is that the?
No, it's been happening more often than you would like to realize or admit.
I'm just surprised he's not cooking like a 30-course meal right now.
Yeah, every year in December I shave. I call it my chin counting.
How many did you get up to in 2020?
They're COVID chins.
COVID shits.
It's an exponential COVID chin. It's good to see you, Brett Young. How have you been, man?
Hey Bob, I want to tell you if your hat were red and white, you'd look like Waldo.
Oh,
nice.
I'll take it. I'll take Waldo.
With everybody leaving and turning their cameras off and on, they're moving around, so it is becoming.
Yeah, it is getting
Where'd he
crazy.
go?
Yeah.
Where'd he go? The recording when we
Brett, what do
try
you-
to produce it's going to be interesting.
You just got to drink more to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I liked the trivia night where Brett was doing trivia while cooking this entire meal.
That was incredible.
Where's Walker?
Yeah, where is Walker?
I don't
Where's the
know.
ficus? Where's the?
Where's the ficus?
What is that?
Ooh.
All right, now it's over. Brett kids.
For those of you listening in
that
on the
real?
podcast, that was
It's called
real.
live TV.
That's
Live
gen-
TV. The baby vomited.
That's generally what women do when they see Nathan. But I didn't know what like.
Oh,
That poor baby took one look at all of us and went, "Ugh."
Oh, that was awesome.
You can clean up, Nathan. You're good. Oh my God, that was awesome.
Oh.
As you can see, we have a lot of content in this episode.
We're good.
That's
We're
right.
good.
Unscripted.
Appreciate the
Unscripted.
effort.
This is what happens when you go freeform. You
Look
never-
at little Nathan.
Yeah.
Look
Look
at
at
that.
No one ever barfed on Benham's show.
Going again.
Right? I think Bob
What the
brings up
hell's
a
going
good
on?
point. Yeah.
is that show still going on?
Oh.
Ooh. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Where's the boner?
He said he was signed up, but you know him. He's probably triple booked.
Mm,
You know.
I
That's
talked to
it?
him yesterday. I
That's
talked to him
it.
yesterday. I think he said he was signed
I
up.
think we
He said
should
he was
all
signed
text
up.
him
He said-
and tell him to join.
We could text him.
Actually, he's probably at his own house, and his internet's like Jonathan's, where it
Yeah.
comes and it goes.
I think
The only guy I know that you call him up for a video call, and he's like, "All right, I gotta drive somewhere." All right, dude.
Hang on, McDonald's is a mile away.
Right.
Go,
All right, let's bring this back around to topic. What do you all want to see next year? Do you have an idea for an episode? Do you like what we've been doing? Has anybody even figured out that until this episode, we'd been doing an origin story and then a deep dive and then an
Yeah.
origin story and then a deep dive
yeah.
just to see what people like?
We've been kind of alternating that a little bit, right?
we're
So-
trying to.
I'd like to see one on automation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have
You have somebody who could actually show you that on this show.
Right.
He's
Well,
the
like-
one with well, there's a couple people without it facial hair, but he's the
Like-
currently one with his camera off and muted. I guess that's what I could say.
Yeah. So are you gonna put your camera back on or?
Probably not.
He sort
He's
of
been
is.
working on some pretty cool automation
Yeah.
stuff, and
Brett, you there?
Hold on, Derek, when you talk about that, what would you like to see in particular? Like deep dive practicing on automating a particular process, on general automation, like robotic process automation?
Specifically,
Hey, I heard
more like robotic.
I heard my name.
Yeah. We're talking about maybe an episode on automation, Brett.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
now he's interested.
Well, the good news is I have a lot of cool automation. The bad news is a lot of it's for confidential clients who are building things that they don't want to talk about what they're building. But we can adapt it to do things. I can show you examples that I can show you auto routing in a milk processing plant or something instead of what it really is.
Well, automation things, right? I mean, we're talking about the software side, the design side, all that, and then automation, on shop floors and stuff, where we're talking about pipe cutting or robotic welding or anything like that too. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that we can talk about automation.
Yeah. And David's a good point of contact for that too, right? I mean, yeah.
I'm game.
Derek, is that covering what you were thinking?
Yeah, well, I mean, like some of the stuff I teach a BIM class, and one of the things that we do is we have the guys in that class. Each week they come up with something where technology, how it's impacting the construction world, and one of the ones that's come up a lot is like the automated bricklayer stuff.
The guys from
I just saw one where they've got an automated painter, like, and it's cool to see.
Right.
Some of these stuff. I'm like, man,
there's a joke there.
What
too,
other
right?
stuff is out there that's coming down the pipe?
I just saw that. Like, did you guys see the 3D printer that scans the surface that it's going to print on and can like print what used to be what a plasterer would do, like an art style plasterer, doing that really intricate work. And now they can 3D print that straight on the surfaces. They were like demoing that for a while. I'm like, nah, no one's actually doing this. And they started zooming out, and it hadn't done like a room or two. It had done an entire building of basically a custom interior that was all 3D printed plaster on the walls, on the stone, everything else. So they're getting crazy with that. One of the things that I thought was cool is they showed you how their robot saw what it was going to 3D print on. And it was awesome because it looked just like what we see when we're inside, like one of those, if you ever look in like an AR kit, you see all the triangulated surfaces, and that's all it could see. And it was just, it was really cool, man. I think that hopefully next year we start to see some of that really come together.
So I see probably a couple potential episodes there, right? Like Derek's saying, maybe, automation on the job site, and then talking about with, like David, on the call here, and some of the, not just David in the cutting world, but maybe guys like Novark and the Robo, there's a lot of automation that's existed in the manufacturing world that's now making it to construction fabrication, right? So without preaching the products too much in an episode, but we could bring people in and kind of just talk about what the hell's happening.
That could be pretty interesting too, if we can get somebody from like a manufacturing side to talk about the process. Like, let's talk about the process, the layout, the flow. I mean, because we've talked about it internally in our own company a couple of times. Like, let's bring in some people. We have a fairly solid manufacturing base in the area that I work in or live in. Why don't we bring somebody in like that and talk about the way we set up our shops and everything? Yeah, we're highly variable. We don't do 100,000 widgets in a day, but somebody with a mind like that should, we have a Chrysler plant right here. Like, let's bring some of those people in, and we do work for Chrysler. Let's reciprocate that back, and let's have them come talk to us.
Right.
I can actually think of a couple that have come into construction that are doing things that might be interested in even coming on, that have done like enclosure automation manufacturing now for facades and whatnot, that might be even interested in it. They were doing a lot of work on AI, on looking at what the optimal, how things go through, and looking for improvement. So that might
we talked about a little bit with Darren Young too. He comes from the granite. I mean, he's been out of it for a little bit, but he had those workflows as well.
Sure. Yep. So maybe if any of the dorks out there, we've got the dork network, we got the connections. If anybody knows, maybe somebody knows someone from Detroit, the automotive industry or something, those guys come to mind. Maybe bringing someone in that.
We'll get Elon.
Let me text him. Yeah.
Sarah has a factory. They have a wall panel factory. They've actually torn their first one down and built the second one. So that'd be interesting to have them speak to that. I don't know how far along it is or how proven out it is. They're still a newer company, but I know they're doing some serious manufacturing.
Does
I'd
anybody
like to
have any
see.
connections at the guys at Modern Niagara at all?
I know them. I've talked to them a bit, but it's been a little while.
They have a pretty top secret fab shop going on that they're trying to build out. It's
They're
there's
forward
12
thinkers.
12 robots.
Yeah.
12 robots, automated carts, moving carts. About $7-8 million fabrication shop just for carbon stainless welding and processing. And
No kidding.
All
So they're
robots.
probably
All
not going to
automation.
share that much with us.
I
but,
saw the automation because we're working with somebody, the same company that's doing that to do something with our copper crap. And he showed me some of the examples of what they're doing. It's freaking crazy.
But I think we're talking about maybe we reach out to someone outside of the industry and kind of with that old school manufacturing mentality, just maybe for those of us that, construction's a little behind the game in some of that, and maybe we can learn, could be a good conversation point.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like trending on that digital prototyping, the digital twin conversation. I still bristle a little bit about, but that's kind of where, where that's kind of lending itself to. One of the what I'd like to see, which I think is, we've got some dorks out there who do this stuff too, is some of the reality capture and talk about that. It seems to be catching on a little bit more. And I've seen some of the LinkedIn posts that I think it's Merrick has been showing like the capabilities of the new iPhone and been being able to pick up some scanning and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, with the LiDAR.
Yeah, with the LiDAR, but even just reality capture best practices or just discussions out there with the combination, I think, of 360 photos, terrestrial scanners, and then even just like scanning on your iPhone and some stuff like that. I think that could be some good thought-provoking conversation.
Yeah,
That would be Merit Thatcher with Argyle Technology.
No, I think that was, I think Matt's the one that's been, because he had a webinar yesterday and he was kind
Okay,
of,
so yes, thank you, Travis. Yeah.
But still, both those guys would be awesome to have on.
It's the guy from Nexus, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I got the name wrong, but yeah, he's been posting some pretty interesting stuff from his office of like scanning the phone. It's pretty sweet.
I watched the full webinar yesterday. It was great.
Okay.
What it's created for, and I was talking to Jonathan about this earlier, is so you can like scan a chair and then move the chair in your room and like see how it's going to look in like AR. That's why Apple made that. It's just kind of cool. All of our minds are probably immediately like, okay, I want to scan a mechanical room.
Right, exactly.
Bring it into Revit, like immediately. It's not there yet, but it is cool for like stuff you missed,
I can almost see it helping you. I see it more inside of like the location based, like actually like placing you inside a space, knowing like where some distances are. So you could actually kind of figure out where you are. Like it's triangling your position, but there would probably still need to be some other tech to kind of back that up, whether it's using WAPs or Bluetooth trackers or something to help kind of triangulate. But now you can actually like set yourself in the space, and then it could say, oh, you're actually 10.5 feet from that wall. Let me actually get you much closer there.
If I can reach that refrigerator.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea behind the
This would be a
HoloLens
great
stuff.
conversation.
Yeah.
You could place yourself at your desk for 12 hours a day.
It's the new COVID.
That's what Travis
reality.
does anyway.
You just slide
Like-
yourself to work.
No, it's like those Zoom backgrounds where it just is you and you like nod your head every once in a while, things like that. So you can actually step away from the
Right.
meeting. It would still be.
Still my favorite one of all, where the kid loaded up the picture where it said connecting ...
Yeah.
But he spelled connecting wrong.
Right.
I thought. It's like, that's perfect. Oh man, that's awesome. All right, so that was some really good ideas. Are we
Hey,
going?
DJ.
Yeah.
Just so you know, like Bob down there made me a test rig to test scanners against. So we have like a test rig that has like all these different materials and everything. And we've been running it against photogrammatics, against time of flight, against all of these different types of scanners. So I'll let you check it out. It actually is it's all housed in a virtual reality environment that we just got the okay to roll out to some people. So I'll let you play in.
That's actually another really good topic. The CPC thing you did with like the virtual sort of conference and thing, I think that's
that thing
pretty
was
forward
awesome.
thinking.
That
That
thing
was
was
very,
awesome.
very cool.
You want me to share it, John? I have it open.
You can if you want, man. But basically what we did is we threw it all into Revisto so you can go in virtually and see all of these different scanners head to head. Like, how does it look on the same thing scanned at different distances, all head to head? Like it's pretty cool. So like you can see the ones like Pharaoh from 70 yards, man, is garbage. You know, that one was the Matterport. If you want to know what Matterport will really do for you, it was pretty neat. I got to do a bunch of them. And Bob made me the skid, man. He did a freaking phenomenal job. It actually says MEP right on it.
Yeah, here's the good one.
That is awesome.
Yeah, show us the good one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so that is the good one, but that's
F70?
not the good one. Go one more over to your right.
Oh, that's the super good one.
That there, man,
There's no
is
more
the
fighting.
yeah, that's the
That's the
S70, dude.
And foot.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then
That's really cool information, though, right, guys? I mean,
yeah.
And it's not dissing any of the other ones, right? You're spoiled for choice. What level do you need? What fits your business need the best?
right. I mean, we're completely agnostic to
Yeah, you
to
want to
companies
see
here, right?
LiDAR?
I mean,
That's the LiDAR one, that red one.
This is LiDAR.
That's what LiDAR is reporting. That's a geoslam. So that's LiDAR at a running pace. So we ran by it as fast as we could.
Holy crap, that's awesome.
They said they could do 20 miles
that.
per hour. So we just ran by it. It's tried to
Do you have a
figure out
video
what-
of that? That would be kind of funny.
That would be kind of fun.
We do have video of that. You'll see it. at some
Running by.
point.
Was it any better if you stood still?
No, it wasn't. It just doesn't, it's building meshes. So like, I think it would be better in mesh, but it was cool, man. And you get to see, like, people think that they're going to get these beautiful scans, and this is the way to sort of see what you're actually going to get.
That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
that's another thing we could
I
talk
didn't
about
realize
too.
we were
Is
part of such a cool thing.
we could bring some different meshing platforms in too and talk about, because I mean, Autodesk has kind of discontinued meshing.
Well, Recap's going away. So,
Exactly. So
yeah.
that's a whole nother platform that we can talk about, because I don't think the need for a mesh is gone, right? I mean,
No.
there's people who want that.
With their Sin2, which
Sin2
was
is
started by
like a big one.
Dominique, right? And he was at Autodesk. What was I know there's a couple other ones that actually would be another good topic to talk about too. Is
Yeah.
sometimes you just need a quick mesh just to represent something.
Has anybody used Point Fuse?
That was the other one I was going to say.
Yeah, it puts like the IFC category to it, so it automatically finds, like, if you have an air tank, it knows that
Nice.
that's an air tank.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah, it'll split your point cloud into like little mesh objects. It's pretty.
That's
sweet.
kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, check it out.
it's worth.
Alex at McCarthy showed that off
Cool.
in a webinar.
And with an IFC, I mean, that's valid anywhere. So
Right.
There's a Cloud Compare, which is open source too.
Cloud Compare.
Yeah.
I was just going to pause quick, and anybody that hasn't been to an event with us, these are the actual conversations that we have around the bar. You're not having
exactly.
any,
right?
Like we do these podcasts, we try to pick a topic and stick to it, but these are the actual types of conversations that we have when we're sitting around at these events, and that's what we're trying to recreate there. So I just wanted to throw that out. We,
And I would
really
definitely
do
say-
nerd out.
I would definitely say DJ is right with the phone. I'm looking at the same thing up for you, DJ. Is like they have some ways to triangulate where you're at, like zero
Yeah.
key. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, man. Go check out zero key. It is the closest you can triangulate where your hand is in those rooms, and you get this really awesome thing. If you get a chance to talk to Jeff Elwell, he's about to do something really crazy with zero key and the Ghost Robotics dog, which is the actual, like, the affordable version of the Boston Dynamics dog. You know, like the one that we can actually use. The legs come off, and
How much is that bad boy?
The
it
Boston
80?
Dynamics one?
Yeah.
You can lease it, and it's going to be 64 grand for like how long was it? Who didn't somebody on the show already do one? Yeah, I was looking at you, Travis. Did you already do a dog?
Me,
Martin.
Travis? Original Travis or old
Can't be me.
OT.
No.
You got to label them right. OT or
The system doesn't have a dog.
No,
Mortensen has a dog.
I mean,
Yeah.
we tried to talk a couple of times, but we never really got pricing points.
Dude, some of those other dogs are looking like they're going to hit around 40 grand each, and they're going to be somewhat autonomous. So that's really cool.
And
You know,
that's
I mean,
a cool
that's
talking
usable.
point, for some of us, the contractors that aren't massive, right? I mean, because that's a heck of an investment for somebody who doesn't really have a true use case yet. So,
well, whatever happened to like Doxel or Alive.ai and those like rovers? Those kind of
Doxel's gone from what I understand.
Doxel's gone.
Yeah.
And Alive is gone
I know
too.
Alive is. I didn't know
Alive
Doxel
is
was.
gone, but I was pretty sure Doxel has ended recently. And you can now buy Spot for $74,500.
okay.
Can you really buy it, or is it lease?
Well, I don't. That was what Boston Dynamics put out on The Verge.
Yeah.
But then I know Trimble took over the deal, and they're actually the hardware vendor now. You have to go.
Yeah, you had something about them on the podcast on the crew, right?
Yeah, that's where we covered it. So.
There's the J-Bot too by Hilton.
Yeah,
Have you
right.
guys?
We
That's
were
kind
looking
of
at that
cool.
a little bit.
Yeah. The only deal is you have to like kind of park it and use a Trimble also, or a laser station also, and then it only does like a 6-foot radius before it can move. So it's still limited, but very cool.
Has Elwell played around with any of those, John? Or
he just played around with the J-Bot.
Did he?
With the Hilti one. Yeah.
I've been having a hard time getting them to respond back to me about getting it out and trying it out.
Man, give him a call. I bet he'd be able to help you out there.
we should try to get Jeff in here more.
Yeah.
You guys,
Yes,
you guys have seen the 360 camera on the drone, right?
You should.
What now?
Oh, that's BS though, right? The one from Ring Robotics or Ring
No, the one that I rigged up at Space.
Oh no, yeah, that one's cool.
You guys have seen that, right?
Probably similar to what Todd Wynn did at Rogers O'Brien back in the day.
I'll share.
Yeah, I tried to copy that and it did not work.
I just
I had the Google Cardboard and put on the YouTube and it worked.
Oh, dude, this thing made me sick in like a minute and a half.
We
It was like we tried it on an Oculus to be able to see the stuff
Turn it
back.
off. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Oh, jeez, it was horrible.
What is that?
That's awesome, Travis. That's legit. That's really cool.
This was a John challenge from. Well, I guess I just uploaded it like a year ago, but
yeah,
we made the launcher out of PVC pipe. The Fab Shop helped me make the launcher, and then now you can see how fast I'm going. The height, the lake was frozen.
Wow, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
But
I think John, didn't you 3D print the like attacher for this?
Yeah, we made up an attack. It was all kinds of fun, man. I will say this though, we tried to put it again in virtual, and in virtual reality, it was like a sick machine. Like within minutes, you wanted to vomit.
Where you have to look and everything's moving around you in virtual reality. That's when there's a problem.
Oh yeah, man, it was bad. I thought you guys were talking about, Ring, that company Ring put out that commercial about this drone that's going to go around your house autonomously with the 360 camera.
Thank you. As the guard dog.
I don't know, man. I looked at that and I was like, I'm not sure if that's not baloney, but
My
I hope
cat would love it.
Oh, I'd love it. It'd be awesome.
Travis, I'm looking on the right-hand side at your YouTube recommendations. You're kind of all over the place there.
See, you're a Ross Geller fan, huh?
Who doesn't like Friends? Friends is a good show.
What's this one? Who's Zafia? I don't know.
Only 16, but
She's only 16.
I watch a lot of singing stuff.
Yeah.
I love how that's a disclaimer.
Careful, don't scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go scroll too far.
Do not scroll any farther.
Things you learn when demoing live. Don't use your
Right.
search bar. Autocomplete is not your friend. But I do hear something out of this from
I
watching.
don't want to
what
be
you're-
Travis anymore. This is what we're doing here.
So what you're doing, Travis? I hear a DIY in construction episode.
That would be
good.
That would be
good. Yeah.
That could be good
That'd
one,
be
man.
crazy.
I don't think it's just one episode.
Yeah, you're probably right, DJ.
You could call it
I
like
mean-
a mad scientist. Mad,
We
like
can't steal that term. Someone might have that trademarked.
Oh, who's got
Yeah.
that trademark?
No, Nathan doesn't own that one. No,
somebody else. Somebody else.
I'm intentionally not trademarking anything, asshole. You guys always give me shit about it.
Just messing with you, buddy.
The Last Planner, trademarked. Open BIM, trademarked. No, we're not going to trademark any of that shit.
Just
Oh,
construction dorks.
We know you love you. Yeah.
Yeah, just wait till Construction Dorks gets to trademark before CBC does.
Well, Hilligus might beat us all to it. So
No, but he's singular. He's the Construction Dork,
Right.
and we are the Construction Dorks. It'll come up differently when you follow it because he doesn't do dorks. He does dork singular.
I like the DIY idea, and I like what you're talking about earlier when we were talking about trying to for the small to medium sized contractors, the ones that don't have a lot of budgets. Like what can you pull off, right? What's out there? What are the different pricing models between leasing a robot or buying one? And how do you justify paying for that?
Right, exactly.
The whole story of that 360 camera on the drone is pretty funny because it was basically, I think John did like a POC with somebody with a camera and was like, I don't like what this does for what we got it for, so try to do something cool.
Yeah, that was there's too much tech sitting on my desk. I need somebody to do something with this. Please.
That's how that was born.
Yeah,
that's not a bad problem to have, though, John.
No.
I mean,
but if you had seen like all the like stupid things that we had tried with that, like floating it down a pipe. Like, okay, so you can hit video, 360 video, you can put a little light there and you can float it down a 24-inch pipe and determine where all of the problems are. And it was like,
you got to use the Fly 360 camera, the little black golf ball.
that would be freaking beautiful. Well, even some of the GoPros, you can set them up to do some of those odd environments and just drop them in. But I don't know. I think there should be another one on what's the biggest, most expensive mistake you've done in DIY. Because I totally destroyed a Pharaoh once. Like to the point where I had to call the insurance company and be like, hey, can you fix this? Because it's trash.
Whoops.
Yeah, it's only 30 grand. Why not?
I heard a story about, well, I won't name names, but somebody wrecked, I think it was a Leica and a Pharaoh within the same week.
Oh no.
I think you didn't learn your lesson on the first one? Come on.
No, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. I was ready to sacrifice myself, even though my boss said it's okay if the scanner's falling, like it's just a scanner we can replace. I was like, well, that's bullshit because I'd probably get fired for wrecking a $100,000 scanner. So I'll like cushion the fall. Like I'll fall first, let the scanner fall on top of me.
You did the crab. You grabbed it and rolled over on your back, so you would land on your back, right?
There's a couple of times, just because doing a lot of scanning and you're setting up a bunch of stations. First they tell you like, okay, take it off, unscrew the tripe rack, pull it off, set it down, then go set your thing up. And I was like, man, that's bullshit. I just picked the whole thing up and just start carrying it across and quickly set it up, even though that's not the way you're supposed to do it. But I was like, I could do like twice as many scans if I don't have to actually like follow safety procedures.
I got
how best happen.
Yeah. I got a scan back and it showed the top of this pipe rack. And I'm like, how'd you get the top of the pipe rack? That's like 40 feet in the air. The dude started laughing and I was like, don't laugh, man. I do not want to hear that you climbed up there with my scanner and we're sitting on top there. Dude was doing it. It's like,
we've done. Yeah. That's probably it. That's probably a good episode too. It's like talking to people about some of the most precarious things they've done, like just to get a good laser scan. Like we got one of those gosh, I can't remember. It's one of those telescopic tripods, and we had a P20, so you had to get one of those beefy ones, but that they'd get up to like 13 feet, but it'd get a wobble. So you try to figure out how to get up there, get the wobble, get adjusted. And you're totally like, if a safety guy came by, like that's it, you'd be like, okay, you're off the job site, like go away. You're just trying to like, I just need to get up there to get this scan because I know like that's important.
I think that would be a dream get for me. So I have a mask because Mike Rowe puts out the face masks now that say safety third. And I think, Jeff, you guys had him on the contact crew from ConExpo or something like that. But just an episode was safety third. And just talk about all the things that we probably couldn't record it. We couldn't release it. But all the things that OSHA shouldn't really know that we do.
Like dirty jobs, Mike Rowe?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Go.
That was a good episode.
right.
I saw
That's
that.
a
He
good
did a bunch of
episode.
those.
Yeah.
How about construction lunches, huh? What people eat for lunch,
What's lunch?
right? No.
Brett.
No.
Nothing on.
I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
You're hungry. Go cook a chicken.
Could we do a cooking show with Brett? Just one.
We could. Yeah, you'd be impressed.
Yeah, I can creme brulee with a plumbing torch.
He has.
I have. Yeah.
We need to get you an XR10 on, and we can all Skype in and watch you make the meal through your own eyes while you creme brulee it, all of that.
I can just duct tape a GoPro to my forehead. You know.
I'm gonna eat this 3D printed creme brulee.
Oh man.
How
I
about
will
tool
throw-
testing? Tool testing would be a good show. Live tool testing, huh?
What if
Or,
one further of the tool testing? What if we had like material testing where we just break stuff? Like
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
break
Yeah.
bricks, and I don't know what the goal would be, but it would be fun.
Just want to break shit episode, just to break it.
Yeah.
It's almost like Office Space, like the printer
Right.
that you hate. Just take it out back and just beat the hell out of the printer.
Right.
PC
Yeah.
load letter.
We had a class in college where we
PC
had
load letter?
we had like one of those machines that squeezes stuff, and then it does like I think it was tensile testing or something, tensile strength.
Yeah.
And we just broke whatever we wanted. We definitely broke stuff we weren't supposed to, but it was in the name of science.
Leave it to Althouse to take us to Beavis and Butthead level and
Let's just break stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm
Okay, that'll
I'm
be
teaching
fun.
that class now.
Are
So
you?
it's fun. Yeah, construction design at my alma mater. Teaching a couple of courses in it. So
If I came in and you were my professor, I'd probably turn the fuck around.
I'm paying for this shit.
I'll be like, no way, man. That's not happening.
Why did I sign up for Grizzly Adams' great grandson to do? What the hell's going on here?
What about episode with like like what Derek was on the call later, but like something to talk about specifically with work with the union trades and things like that, like what Bowen's been doing with Nika, like what Derek's doing locally, or even like Sean McGuire, with
we could probably
MCAA
get
or some of
Sean
those other
and
ones.
Bone together, and
Oh,
now
yeah.
Tahira.
Yeah.
Tahira's transferring over to Nika.
Yeah.
She'd be good.
Okay.
We've had her on before.
I agree
I
with
think that
that
would be
100%, DJ. I think we could get, names that come to mind would be Sean and even Derek on the call. I mean,
Mhm.
Derek's
We got Mike Z, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Mike Z, Ken Schneider.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a good one. Stefan
Yeah,
would be a good one.
Stefan and
Stefan would
Ken.
be
yeah,
a
that's
real
right.
good one.
Stefan.
Eric Posey is another one that comes to mind. Yeah.
But maybe one for on the mechanical, one on the electrical side. I mean, is Lonnie? Lonnie is not still with. Is he still with Nika?
No, he's not.
No, he's
He's
with Sanveo.
Sanveo. Yeah.
Sanveo. Okay, that's right.
Oh.
But I mean, I think that's also kind of important thing there. Like some of the stuff, like and getting to know Trent, and then getting to know like Derek, and then Derek sharing like some of the stuff he's been doing on the training side. Like that's where like us tech guys, like that's a big help because he's actually doing the introductions early in there, and so they come to the field with like already somewhat of a knowledge and not so much intimidation by the technology.
For sure.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Yeah. I know, Derek, you're still here, aren't you? You'd definitely be willing for that, I'm sure.
No, he dropped off.
Did he? Oh, come on.
I mean, we could even have a dark side episode and seriously call it the dark side episode and not software, but like have Decker and talk about, or even, I know we had an architect, who was the architect that was on before? Okay, so it's Josh. But talking about
He's
even just some of the design side of all of this stuff, and where, you know, because we talk about the construction, but even some things that are happening on the design side.
Yeah, if you guys want to really nerd out, we can talk about RPA, which is the robotic process automation, where you can actually get software to do repetitive tasks on your computer for you. That's what we're kind of getting into, and getting all these things that we'd have to pass back and forth from software to software automated, make that all go away.
We were talking, me and Jeff were talking about that, because there's like a million of them left over from, I mean, from like 2000, they came out with a bunch of these little ones that kind of fell by the wayside. People don't use them anymore. And I still have them on my computer, like doing all my legwork, because I don't like to do any of that crap. So that would be a fun, like, what are your ways to hack through all of the busy work in your life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that is, it's horrible to deal with. Like when Dynamo came out, I about lost my head, because all of a sudden I didn't have to label stuff anymore. And, you know, like you can write a script for just about anything you want to do that's repetitive.
Like a show on Zap, like sharing your favorite zaps or like workflow type that could be a pretty good.
Yeah, I want to see Brett Young's little, you know, pocket of tools he's got hidden somewhere on his computer.
He writes them all himself.
And Walker's got a good one.
We did have Miles Martin on really earlier in the LOD episode.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Has anyone talked to him recently? How's he doing?
I haven't talked to him recently.
Yeah.
Well, Jacinda, I see Jacinda, you joined a little bit ago. I don't know how much of a fan you've been, but is there anything, we're kind of talking about future of the podcast and how many episodes from your end, is there anything that you would like to see?
Oh my goodness, that's a big question. I'd like to hear more about the future of the market.
Especially after the COVID and everything like that, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting. I don't think we've ever needed to really kind of talk from the business side of.
That's a real topic. I mean,
yeah.
You sure you want to go there, guys? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. That's
that's too real for us.
Dorkonomics, what we want it to be.
Well, and what kind of people will we get for that? We would try to find owners. We would try to find investors. I mean, like, because
you know, it'd be interesting. We could go after the venture cap side too, and I know a bunch of them, and they have economists. So we could grab a venture cap and an economist, or Nathan. I mean, be kind of interesting to go down the prairie dog side of things and see if they've got anybody. You've been playing around in there. Playing around is probably the wrong term for that, but you've been working in that world.
Pete Dumont loves to talk, man. Yeah, no, he'd be a fun one to have on.
Geez, I don't know that I can wrangle Dumont.
I know. I know Alice watches pretty often, and she's over with Brick and Mortar. She'd be fun to have on.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man, they have this huge arsenal of emergent technology that they talk about, that like half of it, you're like, oh, you know, I was thinking about doing this, and they have 20 answers for doing that are emerging onto the market right now, you know.
Yep. And Ferguson too. We can, I know the Ferguson folks, we want to pull them in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's Blake or somebody.
Right. Blake Luz.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in hearing, you know, Travis, you brought it up about education. Like, what are we teaching the new generation of kids coming out of college and into the field, right?
Yeah.
I saw an interesting post about somebody sharing about, like, when they're going and doing job fairs for looking for newer construction professionals, 90% of them are looking to go into ops, and only that last 10% are looking in the pre-con estimating kind of side of things.
That was me. I was going.
Was that you?
That was the only option. I was construction management, so that was the only option. I just liked Revit, you know. I just found my way by fate, I guess.
I found out from one of our engineers from MSOE that I think Purdue is the only university right now offering a minor in BIM. So I reached out to that guy for work stuff, but it'd be kind of interesting.
I thought A&M was doing one, and there were some others. Cal Poly might have had something along those lines. Yeah,
you know, we should bring someone like that on. That would
I could easily get one of the professors I'm working with on that course at Ohio Northern. That would be great. And
That would be good.
I've been working with them driving technology for the last 2 years now. So
Get a panel of academia. Yeah. Talk about what is the role of university to help spread the message. And
We should get Sasha. Sasha needs to be on the show.
Well, and maybe,
Yeah.
and maybe the dork movement could, try to funnel their criteria a little bit. Maybe we could try to help to give them some ideas.
Well, and I think it's a dual movement. Like we have in this network. I mean, we obviously have a lot of we're very heavily trade focused, but we also need from the university level. Like we got to find a way to balance that all out.
Yeah.
I could bring.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Our head of customer success is actually still a teacher and he's teaching and estimating. So that would be kind of cool. Because that's exactly what we're talking about, is getting something a little bit outside of the realm. So that would be cool.
Yeah.
Gustav Chodo, I can bring him in for sure.
Yeah,
and
you
he's
guys
a fun
could
to talk to.
You could do a full-blown collegiate version.
Right.
We could all wear our college stuff. And
Well, I mean, you could even like even do one which would be kind of cool. Focus on the ASC competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the things that happen there. I mean, because that's where a lot of the talent, a lot of those young students go in there and show off their talents, right? That's why there's a bunch. Of course, it's different now, but that was like the big recruiting fair. You'd go there and be like, oh wow, that guy like crushed it during the interview process, and I know that students will walk away with offers from that competition because they actually impressed.
We've been finding a lot of community colleges picking up individuals who aren't able to work in the trades anymore, whether they got laid off or injured or whatever, and they're teaching this construction technology because it's taking the pipe fitter and putting them right where the pipe fitter can plan the work the right way, right?
Oh yeah, man. That was the game, is can you find somebody who wants to come into the office who's at that point where they have a good experience base that's willing to Sal, get out of the seat. Get out of the seat and let me in there to type,
That was my favorite, man. On AU this year, Sal's like, that's his story. And that's who you just said it, Jonathan. I was pissed he was on the list. Sal D'Ambrosia, if you're listening to this, we're mad at you because you should be up here. Man, you should be talking to people because they need to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. And then we could take that episode or whatever we do with that university platform and then tie that into another episode with, like Ken Schneider or Derek or those guys with the UA or with the IBEW or NICA or all those. And, let's connect those dots. I mean, because the union organizations, the trade organizations could potentially recruit college grads to that. I mean, there's no shame in going through college and then going through the trade. I don't think. I mean, there is absolutely, to me, that it might be perceived as a backward transition right now, but that's very much a lateral or forward transition, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I heard it on
math.
I'm not sure if I heard it on this podcast or a different podcast, but somebody had brought up the easiest way to bring BIM to the field is to bring the field to BIM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's easier.
And Doug Smith can definitely talk about that. When he started DSI, and now we have 90 detailers or whatever the number is, and the process that he went through to actually build that group out. Like that's what they did. They brought the guys who couldn't no longer work in the field or just didn't want to work in the field anymore, and took that that true construction knowledge, which seems that I think that's sometimes the big lacking thing in our space, is guys that actually know how to build make some of the best actual coordinators out there, because they ask the questions. Like, sometimes you could get a guy in there who draws a bunch of chilled water pipe and it's got like 75 bins in it. And you're like, someone else come in and go, that's not possible because you're going to have so much pressure loss and you're going to lose a bunch of things. Like, even though it's clash free, that doesn't work. And if somebody that, what happens unfortunately on the GC side, sometimes is they're like, hey kid, you know how to turn a computer on? Guess what? You're running BIM coordination for this project. And then you've got all the old, then you got the trades. Yeah, it still happens, unfortunately. Then you got all the trades have these like grizzled veterans who are like, oh geez, this is going to be fun.
But
Well, I'll tell you,
but not just trying to get it functional, right, DJ? But one thing those guys bring to it too is what I preach to management in North Mechanical all the time is in those coordination meetings, there are real time money lost, money gained decisions happening by the minute. I mean, when you're in those meetings and changes are happening, those are that's real money and it's happening very quickly. So if you don't have a representative in there who understands that cost implication, that you can get caught on the wrong side of that. I mean, very quickly.
It makes me think of that
when you have the design
video.
Wait a second, you actually modeled what I drew?
Yeah, shocker. No, it reminds me of that video that started out a while ago from the Lean Institute or whatever, and it was about the BIM coordination meeting, and the guys and the electrical guy or the mechanical guy picks up the phone and says, "Hey, can I move our duct over a quarter of an inch for the conduit?" And the project manager's like out on the golf course, like, and that's actually like stuff that happens, like, those decisions like that if somebody's not running it right, it's like, oh, we're going to move this much more expensive piece of ductwork for a stick of conduit because that doesn't always make make the most sense, right? Or even
all
like
the time.
Exactly, but there's even been times when I've been coordinating stuff. You coordinate all the big ductwork, big mains and stuff like that, and then you try to go through your distribution systems in smaller pipe. But sometimes something comes up where they got to go through, and now that duct that you've released is needs to change or something like that. Then that's where you actually have to have a like you said, like the decision makers phone. Like, is it cheaper for us to reroute the entire, let's say, large power conduit, or is it cheaper for me to pay the mechanical guy to throw away that section or two sections of ductwork and create an offset so we can get underneath there? That's where I just think that's part of like that, I guess, the experience and the skill that's why BIM coordination is still where it is 10 years from where it was 10 years ago.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, we have, like you said, that experience in the field is hard won. But I remember it was in 96, I was teaching AutoCAD to manufacturers, and they were bringing in everybody who was laid off to learn how to draw. And I think that pushed them forward, and we haven't quite caught on. Like we're always kind of catching up to some of the manufacturing stuff, but they had a big movement to re-educate all the people that were coming off of their or out of their businesses. And I feel like that should be our job on the job site. The second somebody comes off, get them into an educational system where we can use all that hard-won knowledge, because there are very few people that are good at layout to begin with. And you get one of those guys and teach them how to use BIM, they're like Superman,
Right.
So John, great question, right? So I listen to everybody talking. So what makes the perfect coordination draftsman, lead designer, call it whatever the person is, the person who's sitting in the room? What are the things that make that person perfect person? And listening, you got to be salesman, you got to sell your ideas because it's money. You got to understand money. You got to understand labor units. You got to understand manufacturing. You got to understand layout. You got to understand technical sides. You got to understand engineering. All of a sudden, you build this unicorn of an individual who doesn't exist anymore because no one is learning how to build stuff anymore.
Yeah,
there's no.
I would agree with you there. That gets
so how
some of the. I don't know, some of the best coordinators that I know that I've worked with, or some guys, they not only they know like their mechanical systems, but the guy also knows everything to do about fire protection.
Yeah.
Or some of and it's usually like some of the mechanical trades or some of the trades. It's not so much on the GC. I would say that the number of very good VDC managers from the GC space is a smaller number, and that's only because those of us that have wanted to actually make the trade successful in the process have actually asked those questions and said, what can I do to actually make this easier for you? Like Mark has been a big one about working with the collaborators there and trying to funnel that information down. I've heard so many horror stories, like with Doug Smith or some of the other ones, where you ask, okay, so we finished a job, so what went well, what didn't go well, right? So asking those questions and getting that feedback, it's like, don't shove 5,000 clashes down my throat and expect me to fix all of them. Tell me what needs to be addressed. Tell me the critical ones, and I'll go from there. It's it's what Travis and I and Jeff and a lot of us talk about. There's a
Well-
huge social side to this whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Well, DJ and Bob, I think you hit another episode we call "Building Your Own Unicorn," because
And I think the answer to the question is you can't. And I think we got to stop trying to build them and let's start
Agree.
trying to address these things with process. Because
well, it's
they
building a
don't exist
unicorn.
anymore. And you know, you have data analytics out there. You have other ways of doing things that
But
have
I-
to fill the holes and the gaps of because it's just not happening. We're replacing pipe fitters. 1 of 10 pipe fitters becomes an engineering person because that's where all the money's made. So now we're taking and we're going to be growing these drafting and engineering departments at a much faster rate than you're growing the unions. The union guys can't really replace those. So what do you end up doing? You end up just having these departments which are horrific to manage and lead because you're trying to build these unicorns out and you really got to start looking at process,
Yeah.
I think it's process, but I think a good, sorry, Josh, I think a good topic of this kind of building upon this is field engagement, right? And so like platform like Travis's, platform like Procore, like some of these other tools that are out there that are now actually equipping field teams to actually collaborate while they're in the field.
Yeah.
I think that's probably something that's a little bit more important. Like, so like we can talk about like Procore has this, Revisto has these tools, like some of these other ones, but talk about more about the process of like engaging your field teams to get their feedback, right? Because maybe the guy who's drawing the ductwork doesn't understand how to do it all.
Right.
But if he can ping his guy in the field and say, hey, I'm working on this, can you help me out? I think that's the next level stuff.
It becomes a resource that you got to use, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's one of those nobody knows all the answers, but if you know where to find the answer, that makes you a pretty valuable individual.
Wait,
I think
no
you bring up
longer
a
a
good
silo.
point too, DJ. That I don't know if you guys saw Jeff Peterson's a connection of mine on LinkedIn. We know him. I know him from the P1 group, and he made a great post. I think it was last week. But the whole point of this is like you said, it has to be field engagement. The field is people don't realize that every time somebody puts a piece of pipe or ductwork in, I make a little bit of money. That's how I feed my family. That's how the company runs. And if we start to forget about that, we forget about those people out there. We don't build tools for that. We don't include their input in all this stuff. I think that is probably an episode in itself, a big talking point. Like we talk about losing people from the millennial generation and on about going to the field, but there are still people out there that put the work in place, and I think that we need to talk about that a little bit.
Just wait till the coronial generation comes out.
Wait, what's that? Oh, the coronial, yes.
Generation C.
Yeah, I think that upstream education is definitely critical to our progress from a construction tech standpoint. I mean, Travis brought it up in in a previous episode where you had your field guy look at you and say, "What are you doing?" Like, right?
Yeah.
And it made you rethink about everything that you had already just presented to him. So, I messed around with the 360 cameras a lot, and I had the same thing happen. Here comes Josh with his little bag of toys, and yet I just needed to sit back and say, "What is it that you're looking for?" And we figured it out, and we moved forward.
Yeah, my specific thing was the duct mate. It's going back to designers making mistakes that they don't know they're making. I said you could smash duct mate with a hammer like 3 months before I actually saw what duct mate was. And then I was like, oh shit.
You got to remember though, like just like Bob said, I mean, you can't build a team of unicorns, right? So
right.
The important thing we can realize, we build this team and we have a task to design, provide, and model these jobs that we're going to fabricate off of. And we use the field's experience to mold that team. And it's important to remember that when you hand somebody a task like that, they're going to make mistakes. This team isn't going to get it right away, and that's because you won't have that team of unicorns. But with proper engagement and with proper tools, hence what we talk about, the technology we use to communicate what we're doing to what they're doing, that's how we build that team, and that's how we minimize the mistakes.
I mean, I really appreciate the efforts of some of these companies that are making now of really trying to finally starting to realize like boots on the ground engagement is what's going to make product successful, and figuring out how to bridge that gap between the field and the office communication, and kind of breaking that silo down a little bit, and even like field and PM side of things, like breaking that down, and so showing them these capabilities and these tools to kind of try to make it more collaborative. I mean, not everybody's always going to get along and like each other, but
No, but I want to take it. You guys started talking about academia before, and I wanted to go a little further. I learned this actually from attending with Josh at an event, but I think we got to go to high schools. I think we got to get lower and change the funnel. I think going to college and ending up in the trades trend is not a bad path, but going to the trades and then ending up in college is probably a better path, because you know more of what you're doing. You're more skilled as you come out. How do we, as a group, like, this is a kick-ass fun group of people to hang out with. And I think this industry has a kick-ass fun side of it. I think it also has a stigma side that everybody else sees. You don't see this until you're, past it all. I didn't see it. I almost left. If I hadn't met Nathan and Sasha and DJ, I might not have stayed in the industry. I might have just left. And I started meeting people and started staying, but that was happenstance. So how do we engage youngsters to start refeeding the funnel, right? This funnel's been broken for a long time.
Right.
I've said often.
How about going to school and getting paid to go to school and learning a trade and then not having any sort of student loan debt? Like, seriously, if I could go back and make decisions, I'd be like, I actually know about that.
But even Trent could relate this too. He's got the military background. I don't remember if anybody else does, but when in the 90s when they did the whole advertising construction has a PR problem, and I've said that since I've joined. It just has a PR problem. So, I get asked sometimes in our local area. We have a lot of small town schools that ask for career fairs and stuff, and I get asked for the technology side, but I spend 2/3 of my time talking about the trades and everything else. And I think that's part of the problem is we have to flip that a little bit. We have to start our own campaign, an army of one or whatever that ends up being. But, not that the military fixed their problem, but they don't have as much of a hard time recruiting. And I think that we could learn from that.
But you talk about like we did this thing too, like the ACE mentor and like talking to kids. And we were actually like talking about the examples of like being in the Bay Area and be like, hey, there's a journeyman electrician and he works, and there's a couple of examples we do, like he works 6 months a year, and 6 months a year, he lived out Sacramento area. He'd drive in and work in the city, and he'd get prevailing wage in the city, and then he'd not work. But he was making more than a typical white collar college degree job would pay because of his skills that he had there. Oh, and by the way, he didn't have any college loan debt or anything like that. And I just don't think kids understand that whole like that, like the Mike Rowe talk that he did at Groundbreak a couple of years back that specifically talked about like plumbers and electricians were downgraded in Hollywood and things like that. When we've waited around with some of those guys. Some of those guys are the smartest, most intelligent people that I've ever worked with.
There's talent to capture both. There's talent to capture at the high school level. There's talent to capture even at the people who have already gone to college. I mean,
not everybody's supposed to go to college.
But I use the phrase like I don't care where you came from. I care where you're going. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I did notice something in talking to my brother's running the innovation lab over at Penn State. And when I talk to him about the innovation lab, I say, well, you're running the only shop class at Penn State. If you are somebody who likes to build stuff, I mean, how do you even find out? There's a bunch of high schools that don't even have shop classes anymore. So these people that we want, I mean, the unicorn that you talked about, Bob, in my mind, these are the people that want to build. They want to build stuff. And we're putting education in such a situation in which there's no shop class. There's no experience of building stuff. When I would interview for Spader and for everybody else, I always ask, so what do you build on the side? And everybody that answers, oh, I build this and this and this and this and this. I'm like, you're going to love it here because we're going to give you lots of money to go build stuff. and it's technology or something else. But I think that piece is missing. Like when I talk to Penn State, so I talk to their engineering class and I look at what comes back. I can guarantee you almost all the resumes that I see have some form of innovation lab experience because they needed a shop class. You put a shop class in college and show some of these people how fun building can be, and then add on what DJ said, that we're going to pay you really well to do it. And that's what you're going to do. I think we'd see a huge difference. But right now, you know, like I think I've been asking everybody to read Shop Class's Soulcraft like every other show, but please read that book, because that really talks about the problem we're having. Is just, I mean,
All right, hold on. I haven't been listening before. Shop Class is what?
Shop Class is Soulcraft.
Okay.
Dude, it's phenomenal, and it talks about this disconnect. Because I love to build stuff, and I would not, like, I didn't go to college, but you
So
know,
as a graduate,
I would just like to limit when I
didn't
actually do a
graduate college. I
project,
didn't
how many,
go.
I would like to limit how many trips I make to Lowe's or Home Depot when I'm actually taking a project on.
So as a graduate of Penn State's architecture program, we had a shop class, and it was one of the few architecture programs that I know of that promotes design and construction without knowing they're promoting the construction side. So we had a shop class. We got pushed into doing like a lot of design build on campus work. And that's ultimately when I graduated, I'm like, cool, I'm an architect going into architecture, but yet you're not allowing me to build anything. So
Mark, you went to Washington
some of the dark
State?
side.
Mark, where'd you go to school?
Yeah, we went to Washington State, and we had a full-on shop too, and it was awesome. I mean, you got tools that you just don't have at home, and I think that's the biggest thing is you could really get your. And the cool thing I would tell you about the design side and having these teachers that are professors that are trying to teach you design is it's bringing it to this micro level, right? Something that you can actually manage and kind of move around and build yourself rather than big picture is great, but it's a totally different feel and understanding when you get small. And still one of my favorite classes was that shop class, but it was actually in the civil engineering building, which was pretty surprising. And we were teamed up with construction. So a little bit of a different mix over at Washington State.
So it's really interesting, right? So like, what's the ultimate goal? So I'll ask Travis, not Old House, because, you know, you're too handsome right now, but you know, well, from my perspective, all I care about is I want to build jobs at 0.4 MCA units, 0.4, day in, day out, guaranteed, cost certainty involved. How do you do that? Is it by building a better pipe fitter who's better and quicker? Is it by building a better process? Is it by, like, what's the real magic to it?
Yeah, it's all of the above, Bob.
Well, I think it is, but I don't think it's building a better pipe fitter, because
I don't think it's building a pipe fitter, and this is something I've been noodling on a lot. Just in my experience, I still, Nathan likes to call me the professional amateur. Like I'm still the new guy. I've only been here 5 years or whatever. The hard part is this mindset that everything is so unique that we can't standardize. I think that we have to kind of get over that a little bit. There are going to be we have to figure out what we can break down to standardized processes, because that's where
a process problem.
Process problem. Yep. When you can break it down to a process problem and figure out which parts. Yes, you can have a duct spool or a pipe spool that is entirely unique. It's the only time that you're ever going to produce this particular configuration, but there are going to be bits and pieces of that are repeatable. And that's what we really have to try to get down to, that level of understanding that every time that I solder this elbow on, it needs to be done exactly this way. In my opinion, that's the only way you're going to get to that level. You have to break down the most basic tasks that you can start to repeat on.
It starts with design, right? It seems like every project is a custom project. And I feel like sometimes architects, I came from the design side as well, things like that. Architects sometimes bristle at the modular approach to a building, but when all reality is they're just taking parts and pieces and aligning them to work within that space. Yeah. Why can't you start almost like, they work on programming side and kind of figuring spaces out, but some of the basic and most expensive parts of the project, which is the MVP systems or whatever else that goes in it, is almost like left on the wayside. I don't know how many projects I've coordinated, and some of the other ones on this call here is, you are trying to coordinate a job and they put the main riser shaft for all the utilities next to all of your stairs and your elevators and everything like that. And then they wonder why you asked for an 8-foot ceiling in one of their main corridors, because all of your utilities are dumping out in that one spot. It's like, and it's like, and you run into it on one job and you run into it again on the next job. It's like, come on, guys, like seriously, like think about some of this stuff. Like, you know, it just seems like some of that stuff just gets like some of those lessons learned don't always feed.
Yeah, that's where
upstream.
the standards don't continue on. You don't really learn, like you just ditch what you've done.
Yeah.
You go on and you just do it again.
But I don't want to lump all architects and designers into the same. Hold on, let me say this. I don't want to lump all architects and designers.
No.
Okay.
Because you're digging in, because this is an episode in and of itself, and you're not going to solve it. And if you would,
I'm
Jonathan
not an
Marsh-
architect, and
Bob,
he's just making me feel
Jonathan,
uncomfortable.
Hold on,
I just didn't want to say I don't want to lump all engineers and architects in that same element. There are some that we have all worked with who listen and want to do it right. So I don't want to apply that as stigma across everybody, because I have worked with some engineers and architects who actually want to build it the right way and will listen. I'm just saying
But can I piggyback, Bob? Can I want to make a point with Bob too, because I think I can answer a little bit of his question.
Sorry, Jeff.
Well, I want Jonathan to move a little so you can see the guy behind him.
Oh no! So coming from you know,
That's the bartender. I'm your bartender at this.
He's gonna bounce you.
Come on now. I've been thrown out of a bar before, Jeff. I will do it again.
And I have thrown people out of bars. And this is what it feels like at the show when we're coming near the end. So Trent, I'll let you finish up your thought. But Travis is going to be up all night editing this thing. So we're way in. So you finish your thought, Trent,
I'll be
and
quick.
I'm going
I'll
to
be
wrap
quick.
this up.
I'll be quick. No, Bob, you and you know, from a management side at North Mechanical, you know Rod Foley, my colleague there too. And one thing that we have found, because we've been fabricating for a long time, and we were doing a shit job of it there for a long time, and we couldn't figure out how to get that MCA rate to the level you're talking about. I don't think we're at a 0.4, but we talk about trying to, that 0.6, that, some kind of level. And what we found was we were pushing the fabrication so heavy, we were force feeding the field shit. I mean, we were just like, hey, this is what we're going to fabricate. And we were just throwing at them. And then they were throwing their hands in the air saying, well, what the fuck do I do with this? I mean, because we're like, well, we're fabricators. We fabricate this, you install it. So what the software has allowed us to do is we've broke those work packages down to a point where now the field puts the input in and we're fabricating to the field's desire. And that has brought our MCA rate down at least 0.1, 0.2, it's come down. I mean, there's a lot to learn, but I just wanted to throw that in there. And
I think the magic, and then I'll let Sample shut me down, but I'll get shut
I
down.
do feel like the guy at the bar after MCA.
You need to flash the lights. You need to flicker the lights.
But I think something that we got to think about, and I'll credit Mr. Marsh with this. The construction process of the past is waterfall, because it's really not creative in nature. Waterfall works in non-collaborative creative environments. It doesn't work when design's the driver. And I think that that's the key to all this. How do you create an agile process to drive construction in lieu of waterfall? And that, if you can figure that out, because I sit now on a few software companies' development teams, and what they do in the software development world is a perfect parallel to what we're trying to do in a design, creative driven world. And until we can figure that out, because it is not easy to figure out, until we can figure it out, we're going to still be sending shit to the jobs, because you can't create, nothing is in stone, right? It doesn't work that way. You spiral to the ultimate truth. You don't just follow the ultimate truth behind the other one. And that's really what we're doing a lot of work on. And John and I, kind of had that epiphany when we were hanging out drawing some stupid thing on the board one day. And that our entire construction process is turning into agile. And it is like a nightmare to try to do with your people. It is.
And if you've ever been through it, it's crazy. All
But
right.
you can see the signs of what's possible if you can really do that. So I'm gonna
Look
let
at Jeff.
I gotta say,
I'm sorry, Jeff.
you
It was
ain't gotta
worth
go
talking
home.
about. It was
It
worth
Hold on, one more
It's
thing.
always worth. Wait a minute. There's always
Wait
one
a minute,
more
one
thing.
more.
There's always one more thing. There's always one more thing to talk about. This is the bar. You ain't gotta go home, but you can't
You gotta
stay
do.
here. That's the way it goes. I like it. By the way, I haven't been paid on this episode, so I gotta say #HumanAPI. But I think it was
Ching.
Trent gets a new one. Trent, you have a new hashtag other than Bim and Ain't Easy. Is #DorkWeb. I want to see that one because you said it earlier, and I don't think you realized you said it. It was DorkWeb. So I want to thank all of you guys.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did. We have our Dork Web network, and I was like,
Oh, wait. We haven't said one thing.
Flaviar.
Flaviar. To our friends at Flaviar. No, guys, this is what I miss. This is what I miss about the world.
Yeah.
Hopefully, here comes a some sort of a cure to our virus here, so that we can all see each other and do this in person. Thanks to everybody. Next year, we're gonna have a planning session at some point around the episodes coming up. We're gonna change a few things when it comes to how we get this thing out to you guys. Make it a little bit more throwing up babies on live shows, which is always fun. But no,
I like it.
This is the final episode of the year. We'll be planning, so stay involved. Watch your emails.
Yeah.
Watch out for us to reach out because we want to take a lot of those ideas. You guys gave us a great one for a great year, and it's been an awesome year.
Yeah, I appreciate all you guys so
Thank
much.
you guys so much.
Yeah.
Everybody-
No, thank you for putting this together. This has been fantastic, guys. So bravo to you for doing this. This has been great.
And Bob, we got to have you on an episode coming up, man.
Oh
'cause
man,
I
we do.
I
Don't we?
hated-
Yeah.
I hated cutting you off there, buddy.
You
Because
mean
No.
Travis?
you just got. Oh yeah. We should have OT Travis
Beanie night.
and
Beanie night.
old OT Travis
And more Doug Smith.
More Doug
Yes.
Smith.
and more
I
and
get Doug. I need a friend here. You guys are tough. I need Doug.
Oh no, Bob, we appreciate you
We
so much.
appreciate you.
yeah. And Travis, good luck getting this thing edited tonight.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
might
Travis.
skip the outtakes and just
Yeah.
go from the live.
Just go.
The
for
whole thing is
process.
outtakes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone. That's our show. We'll see you in 2021.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
I still think I'd make a
Yep.
great mailman. Such a great gig. I thought about that too, like USPS, like, when I had like 8 years federal service, right? So it was one of those like, what if a guy just rode out like 12, 15 more years just driving mail around and this technology thing could always be something I do like after all that, like just like mail drivers always seem really happy, just like
Except for when they were going postal, but
Yeah, except for the whole going postal thing.
Right.
Right?
I mean, you have to bring that up,
there's one period in history.
right?
All right,
It does seem like a nice little job, though.
I got
I'm
some
not gonna
kid
lie.
stuff. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, it seems like
Oh.
there's worse gigs.
Yeah. I mean, it seems fairly stress free. I mean, let's talk I know you have I'm sure, you're given like a certain amount of packages that are expected to be done in an 8-hour period or whatever, right? Like,
Right.
and that's probably based on some average. But I have to think that like a bad day, you're 9 hours, right? Or I mean, it's really not that bad.
No.
And it's just,
Yeah, who doesn't? I mean, most people driving around isn't that big of a deal. Just cruise around all day. Stop every 50, 100 feet.
well, like city, ones that are like urban areas, I mean, they're like on foot,
Yeah.
So
Go take a stroll.
that would actually be pretty cool. I mean, bet you I'd be a little thinner, just kind of like trekking around.
Right.
Yeah, well, coulda,
No.
shoulda, woulda.
Here we
It's
are.
a, little, it's a little late for that now. I think they're paid decent.
Yeah, I don't think that they.
I don't think they're not cleaning house, but I
No.
don't think it's like. I mean, beats bagging groceries, right?
Sure.
I always like bagging groceries.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that one. That's fine. That was fun to draw.
Dude, that is an awesome one.
It
It's
was.
like my favorite one.
That was fun to draw. It's tough to get Trent's face to change expressions in the drawings without like losing the way that, because I didn't draw it originally, that other dude did. So like it's trying to like figure out what he was after. And
I kind of want to start playing with that doodly. I mean, do you have to have some artistic ability, or does it kind of help you out along the way?
oh no, I mean you basically insert a drawing and then you trace over top of your drawing and that's what moves that hand around. But yeah, if you want to actually draw, you have to just draw. I mean, I just take the stuff into Procreate and kind of draw like half freehand, half like for the Cheers thing, I put an underlay on it at first so I could get like the basics of what was in the scene and then drew out the rest of it. Well, I'm learning to use Unity and I might just make a viewer.
Hey, Dorkouts. We're going to go live here in a minute. Do we have
Oh.
a plan?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, what's your plan?
Oh, wait, there's a plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so we were going to talk. I don't have a plan. I assumed you guys had a plan. I can wing
guess
it though.